Welcome to Hood Champion Boxing and Sports. In boxing, you find a way to win or you find a way to lose. Let me tell you, man, that was probably the best fight I've seen in a long time. Congrats to Katie Taylor. I think Amanda Serrano won the fight, but I have to agree with Jake Paul. That's like a draw at best. But man, that fight wasn't 97-93. Either way, that fight was so close. But man, Amanda Serrano almost got Katie Taylor out of there. She had her hurt. I mean, Katie Taylor was out on her feet basically. And in the fourth round, fifth round, she was hurt. Serrano slowed up a bit on the sixth, seventh, eighth. It was kind of close, but Katie's hands looked a bit busier. 10th round, I get that to Serrano. But I mean, at best, it was a draw. But man, if you didn't see the fight, you need to go watch that fight. And it's not even about it being women boxing. I mean, just if you like boxing, that fight was crazy. I mean, that fight was very, 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 very. I mean, just it really was like a Gotti Ward, like an Arturo, not a Gotti, like a Gotti Ward, but it was more like a Felix Trinidad in there banging. Like I would describe Serrano as like the Felix Trinidad, and Katie Taylor was more like super speed. I would say like a Mayweather. Just the cat-like reflexes, man, and then she had like the Mayweather cat-like reflexes, but the super fast hands of Amir Khan, and those things helped her a lot in that fight. And then Serrano was more like the free swinging hooks of a Arturo Gotti and a Felix Trinidad, and plotting along kind of jab, hard shot like Felix Trinidad. It was just watching them. Those two women are built differently. They really are. They really are built differently. So I'm going to shout robbery, but I'm joking. But I do feel Serrano won that fight, but I'm not mad at the decision. I think they should have at least made it a draw. That crowd was lit. That crowd was super excited to watch the fight. Amazing, man. I was watching it with my 4 sons, man, and we just couldn't believe what we were seeing. Like it's been a long time since you've seen fighters, not even women, but fighters, just let their hands go like that. Like they made it hard on the judges. I'm going to tell you that now. You know what they say, sometimes fighters can lose their right to complain but not doing enough. Both of these women did more than enough, and that's why it was a split decision. But maybe they saw Katie Taylor a bit more active in those middle rounds, but Serrano was still letting her hands go. She did look a little bit wider. Taylor looked a little bit cleaner, but Serrano definitely had the heavier hands. And when she was going to the body and coming back up with the hook, Taylor was a sitting duck for that. And Taylor's lucky to be out of that fight, but they're obviously drinking something out there in Ireland, or eating porridge or something, because for her to stay up on her feet, even in that last round, her knee almost touched the canvas, and they could have called that a knockdown. I mean, she almost went down, and I was like, oh, it was like 15 seconds left in the round. And I was like, oh, she's going to go down. But she stood up on her feet. But good fight. Should have been a draw. But, it is what it is. I'm just waiting to see if Jake Paul's going to pay, during the post-fight press conference, see if he's going to pay this guy, what's his name, Eddie Hearn, if he's going to pay him that $1 million. But if you didn't see the fight, that fight was better than watching Spence fight. That fight was better than watching Crawford fight. That fight was better than watching Tyson Fury fight. Matter of fact, that fight, the energy of that fight from watching it from my living room was like watching that Deontay Wilder Tyson Fury, the third fight. where you're on your seat, the back and forth. It was that kind of energy. And if you enjoyed that fight and you were on the edge of your seat, this fight was as good, if not better. This fight was amazing. But that being said, that's the decision. Got to give Katie Taylor her props. She found a way to win. And Serrano did too, man. But they chose a winner. In this case, I think they definitely should have went for the draw. But Katie Taylor, I can see how they figured she did a little bit more, especially the second half of the fight. First six rounds, except for that first round, but rounds 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, got to look at Serrano. 7, 8, 9, 10, 4. So you figure it's like 5 and 5, and then some of those rounds were close. So the scorecards weren't too off, but I think like a 96, 94 is a little more acceptable, but 97, 93, it's not really off by much. It's hard. It was hard. It was hard, man. You know, maybe Kinahan has something to do with it, man. It's the damn Irish mob behind this. But anyway, like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. Amazing fight. Looking forward to the rematch. I'm definitely going to be tuned in. You guys take care. Always appreciate the support. I'm in the breeze.